Good afternoon again. I'm Dakota Makris. COVID-19 is still a serious issue in southern Kentucky, but the caseload is drastically lower than it was last month. Health leaders in Laurel County say more people have been vaccinated and the Delta variant is starting to loosen its grip on the area. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the trends in the London area.
It is a light at the end of the tunnel, and while health leaders here in Laurel County don't want to say exactly when they believe all of this will end, they say the situation is much better today than it was even a month ago. Just last month, Laurel County was recording more than 100 new COVID-19 cases every day. Now they're seeing about 20 to 25 a day. More have been vaccinated, and the Delta variant is not infecting as many people. One reason for the decline in cases could be people like Tracy Pennington. Says she's getting her first COVID-19 shot because of what she saw the virus do to a friend who's young like herself.
Well, we worked with her. Well, me and my friend worked with her, and she just recently passed away. And I just feel like instead of, because I'm only like 25, to live out my life instead of passing away and not getting fulfilled my lifelong dreams.
Vaccination rates here in Laurel County are better, but they have started to trend downward just a tad. They say they've noticed a trend here. As the COVID-19 numbers start to go down, the vaccine rates start to go down as well, as people don't see the need as much to get the vaccine. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Hospitalizations are also declining in Laurel County. A hospital spokesperson says admissions are half of what they were during COVID's peak. Well, the Wolfe County Search and Rescue Team is warning hikers to be on the lookout. Multiple copperhead snakes were spotted in the Red River Gorge. Copperheads are likely to be found on the forest floor. They like to hunt at night, and that's when they are most active. These snakes really only will attack if they feel threatened or provoked, so it's best just to let them be.
If someone hiking sees a copperhead while they're out on the trails, the only thing they need to do is just back away from it and give it space. If there's a way to get around it on the trail, just do that. They're just moving through their area. They don't see humans as something to seek out and attack or anything. They would see you as just a really tall animal passing through, and if you don't get near them, they won't bother the visitors.
If you are bitten by a venomous snake, it's important to stay calm and call 911.
Starting to see some high cloudiness work back into the mountains this afternoon ahead of a cold front headed in our direction, though cold in quotes because we're not going to see that much change in our temperatures. I-64 at Moorhead, you see some of those fair weather clouds this afternoon, but more of that kind of mid to high level cloudiness beginning to work in. You see that on our I-75 camera at Mount Vernon. Sun's still out, but the clouds also in place. It's a warm one out there. Warm spot right now, Prestonsburg sitting at 82, 81 each, Moorhead, Jackson, and Hazard. We're back into the middle 70s in many other spots, 77 a popular number, especially into the Cumberland Valley. It's a clean sweep on pinpoint Doppler this afternoon, at least in the mountains, but we could go further out to the west. That's where we're dealing with a cold front and low pressure over northern Missouri, and that's leading to strong to severe thunderstorms across portions of Illinois, even that tornado warning north of St. Louis right now. That's not far from the Springfield area, or at least headed in that direction. For us, though, I think we'll be okay in terms of severe weather. I don't think we have any of that in our future, though mostly clear skies, some patchy fog possible overnight. But we'll start to see an increase in cloud cover and even some showers heading our way as we head into tomorrow morning. I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Evan, thank you again. A new report says 1 in 4 pieces of critical infrastructure in the U.S. face substantial risk of being rendered inoperable by flooding. The report was prepared by the First Street Foundation, which is a nonprofit research and technology group. It considers critical infrastructure to include police and fire stations, hospitals, airports, and wastewater treatment facilities. According to FEMA, flooding is already the most common and costly disaster in the U.S. The most at-risk regions of the U.S. are in Louisiana and Florida. Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen is set to meet with the social media giant's Oversight Board in the coming weeks. The board, which is an independent court-like entity for appealing content decisions on Facebook-owned platforms, announced the news Monday. Now, she has set off a firestorm recently after she leaked tens of thousands of pages of documents to lawmakers and the Wall Street Journal. Her message, backed up by the documents, was that Facebook repeatedly prioritized profits over the public good. She detailed a range of concerns in a Senate hearing last week. Facebook pushed back against the accusations and said it devotes ample resources to combating harmful content. London's Metropolitan Police is done with its review of sex assault claims against Prince Andrew. The police reportedly found the claims against the British prince were not sufficient enough to warrant further investigation. Prince Andrew has been accused of sexually abusing girls trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre is suing Andrew in the U.S., saying he abused her. Andrew denies any wrongdoing. Before completing their investigation, police say they reviewed Giuffre's lawsuit and information from a London TV news report claiming Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell abused more than half a dozen young women and girls in the UK. Well, we could be just a few weeks away from having the first FDA-approved coronavirus treatment that patients can receive at home. Skylar Henry has more details from Capitol Hill.
Merck has asked the FDA for an emergency use authorization for the first pill to treat COVID after clinical trials showed it helped save lives.
Dramatically, by 50%, reduce hospitalization and death. So an oral pill that works against COVID-19 hospitalization.
Current treatments such as Regeneron require patients to receive infusions. The Merck drug could be given at home, relieving the crush of COVID cases in hospitals.
As soon as it's FDA approved, we can start to prescribe it to patients rather than them having to come into an emergency room and be given intravenous therapy of an antibody or a shot of an antibody. They can get a pill.
Health officials say the new COVID treatment is exciting, but they say the best measure against COVID is still for people to get vaccinated.
We still have around 68 million people who are eligible to be vaccinated that have not yet gotten vaccinated.
Vaccine hesitancy is even greater among parents, debating whether their children should get the vaccine if the FDA approves it for kids 5 to 11. A new CBS News poll shows 35% of parents surveyed say they will not let their children get the vaccine. 26% are unsure.
I think there's a lot of information available. It certainly makes me confident about vaccinating my kids. And for those parents who still have a lot of questions, I would urge them to have a discussion with their pediatrician about the pros and cons of vaccination.
Politics is one of the key factors in whether parents will vaccinate their children, with 61% of Democrats saying yes and 56% of Republican parents saying no. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, the FDA will meet 2 weeks from tomorrow to discuss whether to approve the vaccine for children. Meanwhile, the government has already ordered enough of Merck pills to treat 1.7 million Americans and will distribute them to the states if the FDA approves its use. A Kentucky man who grew up in Pulaski County recently crossed the finish line to something extraordinary. Duffy Sutton ran a 5K in each and every county in the state, a feat few would dare to attempt. But after his sons encouraged him to start running back in 2009, a love for the activity grew. Now, a little after 5 years, the challenge is complete, and Sutton says it means a lot that he finished despite the challenges COVID-19 presented.
So they postponed the last race, which would have been this past weekend, I guess, in Washington County. That was my last one. I thought, are we going to have it canceled again because of the new variant that was out there? But fortunately, we didn't, and I got to finish on October the 2nd.
Sutton says his fastest 5K race was 23 minutes and 59 seconds. Well, the second annual toy and coat drive is underway. WIMT's Chaz Jenkins spoke with the London City Fire Department on what to expect this year.
I'm here at the London City Fire Department, where officials tell me how this year's toy and coat drive is going to work. In partnership with London's North Main Cash Express, both organizations will be accepting toys, coats, and monetary donations throughout October, November, and December. Those donating to the fire department are asked to place their items in the large wooden box outside the building, whereas those donating to Cash Express can bring their donations inside. Train coordinator David King says they already received 3 large boxes of toys.
I've got some garbage bags full of toys also that's already been delivered. So they're already coming right now. And we've really, right now we're starting to push the toy drive. But it's pretty awesome that we've really have it. People recognize from last year and are bringing stuff now.
King says the fundraiser will end the week before Christmas. In Laurel County, Chaz Jenkins, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, Chaz will have more at 5:30, including an interview with Cash Express and its partnership with the fire department. Well, coming up on First at 4, home prices started coming down to earth this summer, but are climbing once again. What that means for home buyers.
And I hope you like sunshine and warm weather, because both are sticking around for much of the work week. I'll have the latest on the way.